show. Great to have your company. I tell you, it's been a very big week in terms of news. More news tonight. Damien Barrett infighting at an AFL club threatens to tear the joint apart, and it's not Essendon.
Dave Hughes is in live tonight. There's lots he likes to look on, so stand by.
Billy Brownless making a special appearance. Got a major footy show announcement. We're not thrilled about it.
And the enforcer's been out to Oakley. Player etiquette on his mind. Street talk's what it's all about.
Well, that is a very nice looking show. Great audience, Jim. Big panel out the back. Why don't you get them out here?
Why, and good looking boys too. Let's start with the superstar captain of St Kilda, Nick Riewoldt, is on the footy show. And his former teammate now at the Kangaroos, Nick Del Santo's on the footy show. And rounding us out, the premiership star from Hawthorn, Brownlow medal, Shane Crawford. That's what.
Good panel, superstars.
Yeah,
All three of them. Don't worry about that. Lots to talk about with those three boys as well, and lots to talk about with this man who pretends he doesn't watch the trends in television throughout the course of the week, but we know he does. Please welcome the 300-game superstar from Geelong, John Sammy Newman.
Look at him. This is Crosby. This is Gary's dog. Now, Gary, we can always learn... All right, settle down, son. We can always learn from... All right, sit down.
Oh, yeah, just sit down.
We can always learn from our friends across the way at Seven.
Yes.
They had a dog show. They showed dogs last, and it rated 80 million watched it.
Yes.
Get in there. Get in. Sit in. So we thought, mind you, they got that from us, who... We've shown people who look like dogs. They took our lead about cats the other week.
Why have you got my dog here, Sam?
Because if things fall flat, which they're very likely to, we'll cut to the dog, because people are enthralled by dogs, apparently, and he's got his own personal camera. Whereas here, it's here. Here, look, that's your camera there. So tell him to get in the packet.
No, he was here.
So we've done dogs and cats, and you never know, Gary. They might see if they can get a footy show up shortly. Well, they're the carrier of the competition and haven't got a show up as yet. But you wait, next week. They've done cats and dogs. They're going to do fire ants marching through the Amazon. Now, any march of fire ants, there's about 100 billion fire ants at any one stage march, gathering leaves and stuff, and you might think they're all the same.
I don't know,
but they have their own personality,
I've got no
fire
idea
ants,
what
so
you're
you
talking
wait
about.
till they...
There he is. Have a look at him.
The dog's on fire. I'm not sure you are. Sit down, Sam. Sam Newman, ladies and gentlemen. Been throwing off my game.
I know, your pooch is
Throwing
here.
off my game because my dog's here.
Well-
Hey, Nick Riewoldt joins us, and always very thrilled. Long AFL footy season, and 6 and 13 the Saints. You're showing some good signs. Are you a bit like us? You're getting towards the end there, and you're looking for the line or not?
3 to go, obviously, so still a bit to play for as far as we're concerned. We've got a lot of kids that are getting opportunities at the moment, which is great, but we've taken a few good steps forward this year, which has been encouraging.
What about young Mincho? He's missed from the goal square on the weekend. Not good enough. Have a look at this. 2 metres out, and he's missed it.
Yeah.
You couldn't be happy with that.
We all miss goals, Corf. we all miss them.
Well, it did remind us, and this is going somewhere, Rui, so don't get too angry with us. It did remind us of a famous missed opportunity in a much bigger game.
Oh, no.
Now, this is going somewhere.
Harsh.
We haven't just plucked that out of nowhere, Rui.
Yeah.
Brought that because...
Really?
It's a good smother.
Yep.
It's a good smother. Very, very good smother. But it's not the greatest smother of all time.
Which was?
What I like about... Oh, not Sam Newman. Oh! What are you doing there? What on earth are you doing? Hey? What were you doing there, you flop?
I'd like to know.
I'll tell you what I was doing, Shane. I was doing something that a lot of people are ignoring these days. I was getting possession of the ball.
Yeah, but you've got to let the umpire actually bounce the ball.
There's no rule that says you have to let the ball rise into the air. Once it leaves his hands, I think it's carte blanche.
Right.
At what point during the week did you think I'm going to try that? That's a good idea.
As most of my life has been, just off the top of my head, on the spur of the moment, I thought this would be a good thing to do.
We've got two new fathers here, and we've got beautiful shots in the change room. We've got Nick Rewalt here with beautiful little James looking fantastic, and Dell with his little boy Jude. Beautiful. How's that all going, being a father? Oh.
Yeah, going.
Don't work with kids and animals.
Yeah, crosses your arm.
It's a good idea to take your young children into the changing rooms.
Yes.
But just beware, because we've had this vision. I think it may have won a car on Almost Footy Legends. Watch the back here.
Oh, no.
I should stress that the
Come on, Gary.
Father of the year.
I should stress that the baby was all right, but just if you're going to take him into a club room, Shane, be careful.
Yes, okay, so there you go.
Nick Del Santo's here, everybody, and on the Footy Show. 6 in a row, Del. Things are ticking along nicely. A couple of big announcements at the club today.
Yeah, a couple of huge ones with Drew Petrie and Boomer Harvey signing on for 1 more year. So really exciting stuff for the footy club.
Very good.
But no, things are going okay, Jim. We've won 6 in a row. Don't think we're playing overly fantastic football, but we've got 3 weeks to get things a little bit better.
Well,
hopefully we can sneak into the finals.
All we know with you, Dale, is every time you come in, stuff gets thrown at us to mention while you're in here. And I don't know what that says about you, but this one interested us enormously, Gary, because what sort of man allows his wedding video to be broadcast on the internet so that he can get the video made for nothing?
No, you did not.
Now, Dal, I can't imagine Jules, your beautiful wife, agreeing to that, so this must have been something that you went with?
There's certain things in life, Jim, that you do for free. Just didn't think you'd run it on this show, but there's a little bit of publicity for him anyway, bills paid.
Were you spraying cologne on yourself there?
It was.
It's deodorant, that one.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine was after.
So if you type in Nick Del Santo wedding on the internet, everyone can find that.
They can.
I'd certainly encourage everyone at home to do
Surely you've got
that.
better stuff to do with your time.
The
And we got more
World Wide
vision.
Web.
We got more vision.
Well, the bridal waltz, that was also posted on the internet. Oh, come on.
Very good, Jim. Very good.
Now, you have changed your appearance a little. St
God.
Kilda, you had a different bit of a setup with the chin. A bit of a sort of a Roger Ramsden style. But then, when you went to North Melbourne, it's a bit more like a Buzz Lightyear. And what, you changed your chin. How did you do that?
This is going well tonight. About 5 years ago, I had a broken jaw and had a bit of surgery done. So that's...
So they took half of it off.
Yeah.
Well, Dal,
I've had a bit of work done, guys.
yeah.
We've all had a bit of work done, Sammy. You learn from the best.
you may have to go down. You might have to go down right to your feet to get some work done, because word's through. This is the other thing that's come to light. Look at Nick Rewalt laughing at. This has come through to us too, that you've got an issue, and I'll try and be sensitive, but you've got a cankle issue.
What?
You got your calf runs into your ankle. Now, that's not a good. What's that about?
I've got my mum's genes.
What happened there?
Beautiful, Mrs. Dell.
That's fine.
That is very
That's
hard.
fine. Mum's all right with it. I don't have great calf definition, so therefore my ankles look like my thighs pretty much.
We won't ask you to show them because that'd be embarrassing. No. But we took a photo just before we came out on air.
That's it.
Before Nick got changed. And that's not a great look.
Come on, Del.
So we feel for you, mate.
Good start, Gaz. Well done, mate.
That's harsh. That's very harsh.
Just quickly, massive TV right deal that was announced, 2.5 billion. You're at the forefront, or you two boys are senior players now. What happens from a player's point of view? Do you go storming into the Players Association and say, how much are we getting of that?
No, absolutely not. I think everyone would acknowledge that AFL footballers are really well paid currently under the current CBA. As the game grows, as all the stakeholders do a lot better out of the new rights, I think the players' share will increase commensurate with everyone else's. I don't think the players will be greedy, and the AFLPA have been pretty consistent with their messaging.
Well, I think it should be consistent with the last time we went through this scenario, that players want a percentage, but I don't think that should take away from the game development, because if we don't have that, obviously the people don't come through. Spectators, supporters, members don't have the opportunity to be a part of it either. So at no stage, I think from the players' point of view, are we trying to get anything more than we're worth. So I think that's the way that we'll go about it.
Nicely said.
Well-spoken, eloquent young men. Let's get stuck into the first game. Hawthorn, Port Adelaide. It's a ripping finale to the season. The Hawks are desperate to jump into the top 2 and have the first week at home. And we have a look at their team. Only the one... Oh, I can tell it myself if you like. Equally enjoyable. Ryan Schoenmakers comes in. Howe has been omitted for the Hawks. As I turn the page... Oh, there we are. Right, oh, there we go.
That's some graphic issues,
Howe
Jim.
comes out, exactly. Dylan Shields, a very, very important player. Not Dylan Shields. Luke Shields.
Liam Shields.
Liam, there we are. Liam Shields, a very important player. And there we see Schoenmakers comes in. We go to Port Adelaide. Lots of nuisance value at the back end of the season. Robbie Gray, we know how good a player he is. Trengove goes out injured. Schultz comes back in for Port Adelaide. Shane, what are you thinking here?
Yeah, I think it'll be a good game. I think Hawthorn will win, and the reason they will win, there's a lot of pressure on for spots at the moment to be a part of the finals team. So I have no doubt they'll all contribute, and that's why they'll win probably by 5 or 6 goals.
Yeah, the last 2 encounters between both these teams have been very exciting, particularly the prelim last year. So I expect a really close game, but I think Hawthorn will get over the line.
Bit of a danger game, I think, for the Hawks. Top 2 still well and truly in their grasp, so I don't think they'll let it slip. Cyril Rioli, possibly the best 12-possession game of all time last week. He's on fire.
Delicious.
Don't have to ask you, Samuel, because we know your thoughts on
Delicious.
it.
Hawthorn.
We got there.
I'm with Rui though. Port Adelaide had such a disappointing year, 12th on the ladder. They are supposed to be challenging for a premiership this year, so they want to take a scalp before the season's over. But the Hawks, they won't win, but it's a danger game. I think the Hawks are going to get up. As I said off the top, it's a big week for news everywhere, and when we want the best news, we go to the best newsbreaker. Damien Barrett joins us. Welcome, Damo.
Sorry, Jess. In a week where the Brisbane Lions have told their former captain, Jed Adcock, that he's no longer wanted at the club, it has also emerged that the leadership style of new captain Tom Rockliff is causing concerns amongst the playing group. Rockliff has clashed with his fellow leadership group member Dane Zorko, the two recently falling out over some of Rockliff's captaincy methods. And while Rockliff does have the full backing of embattled coach Justin Lepich, there are other Lions players who are disillusioned with how he's going about things, and they are considering their own futures upon the, I suppose, the lack of commitment to where the club is heading by way of its direction at the moment. At a recent honesty session among players, some players were actually brought to tears with some of the things that were being said. And as well as telling Adcock this week that he would not be at the club next year, the club also told Matthew Leuenberger, the ruckman, that they, in their ideal world, would be seeing him elsewhere as well. Although, as we reported this time last week and we'll report again tonight, Stephen Martin, the fellow ruckman, contracted for next year but is looking at options about returning to Victoria to continue his football career. So that could well still be dependent or determined where Leuenberger goes.
A lot to play out there, Damo, up at Brisbane, that's for sure. You're going to come back a little later, news on 3 big clubs.
Yeah, a bit of news on Hawthorn, Collingwood and Carlton later on in the show.
All right, please thank Damien Barrett, best newsman in footy.
Did he say that they were having a chat about how to go about it and some started crying?
Honesty session.
And the people started crying.
Brutal by the sound.
Holy mackerel.
Yeah.
What is this, like sort of model runway thing? What is this? Well, people crying...
Don't shoot the messenger, we're just telling you.
Did you
No,
ever
no,
do-
no,
did you
I'm
ever do a
not,
feedback
certainly
session,
not...
Sam?
What?
Did you ever do a feedback session?
We did in the house.
In the
once,
house,
didn't
and you did cry.
How'd that go?
we? We did cry.
What's that, Nicky Dell?
How did you go when you were getting feedback?
Yeah, well...
Did you do it as a player?
Not well. We
Well,
walked out of the room.
I certainly wouldn't start weeping if someone said to me, now, look, you're not doing this or you're not good enough. Wait, what is that about, Gary? What chance you got to win the game if you're starting to weep in an honesty session?
Well, I've got no ideas,
Hey?
Samuel. I've got no ideas. Obviously,
Would
brutal.
you say it's a good thing for men to weep or something, will you?
What?
Real men do cry. We've got a bit of
dinosaurs,
feedback
yes.
here, Foss. Thank you very much. With Fletch on Facebook. Croft, you're the best. Thank you, Fletch. I found this for you. I love it, and you will too. A young Gaz with his beloved Crosby. A young Gaz.
Oh, yeah, there he is.
Young Crosby. Oh, a little tickle on the belly. Okay, very good. Derby tweeted us in, said Foss. Must have been past your bedtime last night at the Denny Green fight. You were falling asleep. Have a look at the Foss in the background. He's falling asleep during the fight. Can you believe it? You can see him in the corner there. He's having a little kip. He's doing a little Lee Matthews at the ground.
Come on, Force.
But don't you worry. Early in the night, he sparked himself up. And you have a look. Why? Just keep your eye on the Foss. Okay, and there he is. I can see. Oh, there's a bit of movement. Someone's taken his Viagra pill. Sparked himself up a bit.
Well, we were just querulous as to why. Querulous meaning we were just wondering why you would need 5 scantily clad women to get through the ropes and show you what round it was.
And why were you pointing
Why did we
to them?
stop at 5?
Blokes like you who were dozing off during the fight come to life.
And they got
Jumped out
in
of your
between
chair.
the third and the second rope. How'd you like to have been the second rope? How'd you like to have been the second rope?
Thank you. Sam goes about watching boxing, as you say, the complete wrong way. Most
Gary,
people watch the rounds and then go to sleep in the break.
Now, I
Sam,
just want to I'm going to say this is just 1 minute. Now, later on in the I'm going to stand here. Now, I think it's about time, Gary. I'm not doing it now. I'm just telling you. It's about time someone, because I've had more suggestions in a week about how we'll save our game than people have in a lifetime.
Not again.
Should we smother the bounce?
I'm going to have an address to the an address to the nation about what we should do with Essendon and the competition and the AFL going forward. And have you heard a suggestion on how to end this saga?
Get a shot of the dog, quick.
that's it.
I will be back to tell you how we'll knock this on the head forthwith, because this is a farce.
All
We're
right,
trashing
Don't do
the
it
brand.
all now, because we'll be running late. We look forward to that and much more still to come on the Footy Show.
Tonight on the Footy Show, our man Dave Hughes will be wandering in live. We'll bring you all the fallout from a tumultuous week in footy, and of course, the Force will have his say. And just what is tonight's big Footy Show announcement, and why does Fat look so happy with himself? Plus, Sam gets all prim and proper in street talk as he heads to Oakley discussing etiquette.
I asked you to do that, that wouldn't be good etiquette, but if you come up and do it, it's good fun.
I'll just offer.
Fantastic.
Crumbs! Expect another Denny Green-style KO from us tonight.
All the boys for Footy Show. Thanks, fellas.
We got you over the line, Danny. Jeepers! Hey, welcome back to the Footy Show. Thanks to Nissan, the all-new Nissan NP300R. Powerful, made clever. Home timber and hard we go where the tradies go. It's sportsbet.com.au. Download the mobile app today. And while we are on the subject of Sportsbet, have a listen to this. After refunding over $2.7 million earlier in the year, our friends at Sportsbet brought back their head-to-head special in round 18. Last 2 rounds alone, shut up, Force. It's gone off 11 times, resulting in $1.3 million being refunded to punters. So place a head-to-head bet in any game until the finals. And if your team lead at any break but go on to lose the match, they'll give you cash back up to $100. Download the app today, and always remember, Gary, to gamble responsibly.
Very much so, Jim. And then let's have a look at the next game, and it is a big one. Collingwood and Richmond, Saturday at the MCG. I'm not sure the Magpies are going to make the finals, so they'd like to take down the Tigers as well. Maynard comes in, Nathan Brown goes out. Went down to Sydney by 11 points, had their chances last week. Dane Swans turned back the clock. Playing some great footy, but what about the Tigers? Most supported team in the competition we read today. And they had a very nice win against the Gold Coast. 83 points was the margin. They're in the top 8. They're there. Dustin Martin's on fire. Shane Edwards comes back in the side. Very important player. So they will want to shore up their spot. The Magpies would like to knock them off. Yes, Shane, who's winning?
No, the Magpies were very good against the Swans last week. They've had their chances over the last month and a half, but just haven't been able to get across the line. I think the Tigers will win. I think they're playing good team footy. And I will say, Trent Cotchin, a lot of people questioned him at the start of the year about his captaincy. He has been wonderful on the field, the way he goes about it. So well done to the Tigers and well done to Trent Cotchin.
Yeah, I'll go, Gaz. Apart from the midfield clash, which normally determines the result, really looking forward to Cloak v Rance. Obviously, two big keys for their teams. But I'm actually going to go for Collingwood in a tight one.
Yeah, I know Collingwood's season's sort of been derailed a little bit the last 2 months, but I wouldn't be that disappointed if I was a Collingwood supporter. They're getting games into all their kids, Scharenberg, Darcy Moore, De Goey, these types, which is going to stand them in really good stead in the future.
Forsler?
Yeah, no, if you've lost the last 7 out of the last 8, I don't know that you should be that enamoured with your side, but nevertheless...
Won 6 of the last 7 against the Tigers.
Oh, have they, Gary?
Yeah.
Now, it's a bit of a family feud going on here. Gary has got the broken bits with the dog. The dog's not obeying what he says. It's wandering around. It's wrecking. It's like a wrecking ball behind here. It's pulled over chairs.
Who are you tipping?
Let go. Let go.
I'm tipping Richmond. Right. Gary, that's who I'm tipping.
Yeah, no,
tipping, Gary.
Hang on a second. We
I'm
need to
so
acknowledge
sorry.
150 games, fine games of footy, played by the man who has the eyes of a possum, Alan Tooby. So well done. It's a very, very good one defender, by the way.
Indeed. I'm tipping the Magpie. No, I'm tipping the
Alan.
Tigers.
Tigers.
Here we go.
Let's get on with it. This is massive and he's ready to go. This is Sam's moment.
Come on.
You let me know if the dog comes up behind me, Gary, because it's a big beast.
Don't train it to grab you by the throat.
It's a Belgian bloodhound. What is it?
It's a Bernese mountain dog.
A Bernese mountain dog. Mountain dog.
The old
Now,
little
this
one,
is from Sophia of
Yes.
Claremont.
That's Claremont, and magnificent people come from there, Force, so be careful.
Claremont. Foss. Loved you, says Sophia.
Sophia.
Loved you when you got confused the other week about your Caitlyn Jenner lookalike. Well,
Which one's you?
I didn't get confused, but if I meant to look like her, they put
Did a
her
good
up, and I
job.
thought, I wasn't really paying attention. I thought, is that me looking like her, or is that her, or him?
Which one are you?
Hey, that was my point, Shane.
Right or left?
You actually, says Sophia of Claremont, you actually thought you were her. I'd like to see you attempt her Vanity Fair cover. Well, could I say this, Gary? I went to a pseudo cover shoot, dressed as Caitlyn, and just left one small detail out. I went in... I said to the... Because I was going to actually do it on the grand final footy show, and the bloke said, "Are you serious?" I said, "What? Does the dress not fit?" He said, "No, mate, come on." He said, "You've either got to."
That's not you, Foss.
Definitely not you.
Exactly.
Yours is much smaller.
And so he said, "Mate, you've overlooked a couple of things there that you might have to tuck away or do something with." Now, having seen last week, this is the continuation. Having seen last week the real fashion story, is Gary. The real fashion story is Gary and his Moncler jacket. Now, this is true. This is the jacket. Look at that. This is the jacket. Now, he said, Sophia says, "I've heard fashion labels are fighting over him. His old label, Ralph Lauren." He's... Yeah, look at that. The aviator sunglasses and the Ralph Lauren knit. It's a winner. But, and now Moncler have jumped on. Here he is. This is him. Advertising campaigns have already started. Ralph Lauren says, "For the man with grand plans." There he is. And Moncler have countered, saying, "For the man with $2.5 grand." There it is. That's a $2,500 Moncler jacket. And apparently...
That's crap, and you know it. And don't... I told you about that. It's not... That's rubbish. Go on, carry
The
on.
dog's got him annoyed, and the Moncler has tipped him over the edge. And apparently, says Sophia, there's a new player in the market, and this is he. There he is! That's Target putting all their money behind the young Gary lookalike. The young Gary lookalike.
Gary, before letter 2, now in the cold light of day, you must acknowledge that Ralph Lauren photo, you look like a proper wanker, don't you? Like, honestly, did you look back now on that and just
Was it a proper shoot?
Like, if you slow-moed it and put music over the top of it, Jim, you certainly would. Get on with it, please.
All right.
Why do you wait there? Nick, you ready to take over, mate? I'm just about
That's
enough.
his very serious face that he's got on there. He has got
Walking
one
in,
more better serious face, and
shoulders
that's when bereavements come up or tragedies. He can really darken down. Now, from Mirror.
Myra
Is Adelaide correct?
of Adelaide.
Mirror of Adelaide. Sam. Now this is not breaking a story, but this is extraordinary. $2.5 billion, it says Mirror, is hard to fathom. Could you explain it in layman's terms? Says Mirror. Well, this is what $2.5 billion means. It represents, Gary.
Yes.
If you sat down to count from 1 to 1 billion, it would take you 10 years. Do you know that? If you went 1, 2, 3, 4. By the time you got to 1 billion, it'd take you 10 years.
Is that right?
Did you know that?
No, I don't
that's
know.
a little-known trivia fact. Or another way of looking at it, it's 1.5 of Gary's jackets. There it is. That is.
That's enough.
That's it.
One more. I promise you, there's no more. Because
Just a couple.
I know sometimes we milk things.
Oh, yeah, really?
Really. In fact, it gets boring if you milk
does.
people.
Boring
so
for
could they
everyone.
not think of anything else to do?
Yes.
How pathetic is it? Just keep going back and
Move
back
on.
and back. Righto. And how much, says Mirror? How much would you pay me not to? How much would you pay me not to reveal a love child you have never owned up to, Sam? Warwick Kappa.
Same vintage, got the white boots, tips in your hair, tight shorts, force.
Well, you reckon that's a long bow to draw. They look nothing like Warwick Kappa. Sam, hair tips, same white boots. Did you just say that?
I did say that.
Why are you saying that?
Well, because I was talking over the vision.
Well, I'll talk over the vision. These are my
The
lips.
vision's gone.
Show the
I
Gary
started
footage.
to
There
read
it is, let's do it now.
I started to read that and I thought, you just said that. Same hair tips, white boots, same way with the ladies.
Yes.
And now this photo that I believe it to be you and Warwick Kappa's mum. Now this is me. This is me and Mrs. Jenny Kappa. Or Miss Jenny Kappa. She was Miss... what was she?
Miss
Teenage
Teenage.
of
Miss
Waltons.
Waltons.
Miss Teenage Waltons.
Like, Miss
That's
Mobile
that's
Crane.
40
she
years
may as well
ago and
be.
you look better now.
Any luck?
Now, I'm
That's 40
happy...
years ago and you look better now.
Thank you.
Any
Now,
luck?
I'm happy to do a DNA test to just assure you that I'm not worried. DNA meaning, Shane?
That would be just to test whether or not you're the father.
Deoxyribonucleic acid.
Yeah,
That's
well,
what that means. Now,
How am I
I'm
meant to
happy
know
to... Now, do you know how you do DNA?
Yes, take it off your tongue.
Off your tongue?
Or
I
your
was going to say, on
your
cheek.
cheek.
Don't think that is...
Cheek.
Oh, off your cheek?
Inside of your cheek.
I thought I might have to...
A sample.
insert that. So that's just...
That's
so
it.
That's right.
That's
So
it.
we can put that there.
Yes,
I can
you can.
assure you I'm not... But Warwick did give me one of his favourite moments on the show. Warwick did.
The only way to get rid of the Wiz is for you, Gary, to replace him. You must dress up as Warwick for the next 30 minutes. 30 minutes, and Warwick will leave the house. You can save the house, Gary.
All right, you
What else you got there in your bail there?
Well, I promise. I told you it wasn't the Montclair jacket.
Might be something along those lines coming up shortly too, by way of an announcement.
Warwick Kappa?
No, not maybe.
From
not.
Lenny of Gardenvale. Foss, you won't believe this. Dublin Airport security confiscated a toddler's minion fart blaster gun as it was deemed a security threat. Now, this is a fart blaster. I don't know what a fart blaster is. I presume it sounds like someone farting. And a fart blaster emits a banana-like scent and is apparently endorsed by minions. What sort of people would buy fart guns? What sort of... mind you, it's Dublin. What is that?
Well, that's one of them. I've got a few of them at home, so I I always take it with me everywhere. It's great. Just to
Don't
mood.
forget it's Dublin and it's Ireland.
What?
This Irishman walked into the bar. This Irishman walked into the bar in Dublin. And there was
Excuse me.
these 3 really obese women sitting at the bar. And the Irishman said, Are you ladies?
You really? I don't know where this is going.
I'm telling you what, this is from Dublin. This is what's sort of the mentality. Are you ladies from Scotland? And they said, Wales. And he said, are you Wales from Scotland? Now, that's what she said. And you won't... And she says, Lenny, or whoever that is, you won't believe what Nicky Dell said on his old interview,
My partner would probably say flatulence. I disagree with that. I think that's a skill and an ability.
Holy shit.
That's a joke, Foss.
What, breaking wind's a skill?
No, that was a joke. It was a setup at the club and it was funny and everyone laughed. But you of all people, yeah, they did, they laughed. But you of all people, Foss can't speak to me about hygiene.
Oh.
Gaz has told us about that trip down. Was it in Tassie, Gaz?
Yeah, it was. Unbelievable.
Got any footage of that?
Habits. Bad habits.
Here we go.
What?
Get in!
Geez, a nice jacket you got on.
You take 3 pairs of jocks.
Yeah, so well, a pair of jocks would last me 4 or 5 days.
I beg your pardon?
A pair of jocks would last me 4 or 5 days.
1 pair of jocks for 4 or 5 days.
If I hadn't soiled them.
You can't wear 1 pair of jocks for 4 or 5
I
days.
could wear them for 4 or 5 weeks.
What do you mean? You can't wear a pair of jocks for 4 days straight.
I could wear them for 14 days straight. It just depends. Well, I don't urinate in them.
No, why not?
I don't have marks in them. No. They're just purely to keep my bits and pieces together while I've got my shorts on, Gary. And if, by some chance, I did soil them, I'd wash them.
Force, you can't be wearing 1 pair, soiled or otherwise, of
Gary,
underwear
I've been here
for
since
5 days.
I've had these on for 3 days, these underwear.
Don't say
I
that.
tell you, I'll pull over now.
No.
I'll take them, I'll show you them. You'll say they are absolutely pristine and spotless. You fit in the stereotype of, you know...
Not being clean, the sun's beating down, you're hot, you're getting a little sweaty in the jodhpurs.
No, I haven't got sweaty in the jodhpurs since the late 90s of last century.
How can you wash them in your room?
You're not serious, are you?
Yeah, I'm very.
Well, you fill the basin up and put some of the hair shampoo in it. What's funny about that? Put some shampoo in it.
You wash your clothes with hair shampoo.
Well, the clothes don't know it's hair shampoo. It's soap.
If you want to be a part of this award-winning segment, Team Go Box 9, Melbourne, Victoria 3001, sam.mailbag at 9.com.au or footyshow.com.au. We go to a break. Plenty more still to come on the Footy Show. Dave Hughes is not far away.
Welcome back to the Footy Show, and that man, Dave Hughes, about to join us very, very shortly. His unique take on the week in footy and lots that's caught Dave's eye. Looking forward to seeing him out here. Let's move on to the footy. North Melbourne, Nicky Dell's boys take on Fremantle. Sunday, Etihad Stadium. The Kangaroos, 7th, beat St Kilda by 37 points.
Come on, Del.
Bastanak, McMillan, Mullet, McKenzie, Dumont into the side. Zeeble, big out, suspended, and Garner has been omitted. They take on Fremantle on top of the AFL ladder. 16 wins, 3 losses, lost to West Coast by 24 points. Can't really lose top spot. Intrigue about how they play these next 3 games. Pavlich out with an Achilles, Silvani been suspended. Whether they rest players on the way home. You know Rossi Lyon better than any of us, Del. How would he be managing his group in the next 3... Rui, in the next 3 weeks?
Yeah, it's interesting. Certainly in our time when we finished towards the top in 09, we rested players when we went to Hawthorn once. We did it going to Adelaide. Rossi's done it before with Fremantle, so I wouldn't be surprised to see a couple more players come out for the trip over here. It's a big game for North Melbourne. Clearly a a lot to play for, still fighting for a final spot and potentially top 4 if it goes their way. So I think given that and the outs for Fremantle, North Melbourne might surprise me.
So just on that, other people, old-timers, Fossil, would say don't flirt with your form. You're on top of the ladder playing good footy. But, I mean, are we gone past that now? We're happy to rest players?
Well, I think we've seen, as Rui just said about Rossi, and he's managed the group really well. And there was times when we were playing under him and we slowed up a little bit, knowing that we're in a good position. But never have we ever been told not to have a crack come game day.
No.
And then there was the game, I think 2012, where they brought over their seconds team almost. There was that many changes that week. But you know, if they want to rest a couple, that'd be really nice for us. But the way that Rossi coaches and the way that they've gone about their season, you know, it's going to be a tough game no matter what.
And before we get your thoughts, Shane, big news too today, Jim Boy. A lot of speculation, a lot of wasted air, I would have thought, about Brent Harvey's future.
Did we say at the time, come round 20, it'll be sorted out?
We did, you did, yep.
Is it round 20 gone and
Yes,
it's been
boss.
sorted out?
It is, boss.
So, wonderful news though, because he is a superstar of our club, Brent Harvey. So is Drew Petrie, by the way. Both wonderful men, and it is our great pleasure to have them on board again for 2016.
Well, Zeeble won't be there on the weekend. Got
be.
reported again for this. But have a look at this footage. I'm not sure what he wants to do, if he wants to be a karate expert, not that one there where he got reported, but does he want to be a karate expert or does he want to ride a horse? Have a look at this. What was going on there, Jim? Have another look at it. Here it goes. And whack! What on earth is going on, Jim?
Channeling Daniel Wells and that famous goal at Subi.
Hey?
Just trying to kick the goal, that was all.
Is that something you train at North Melbourne?
Is that what damaged Armour to the point where he can't play this week?
I think Armo was dropped, so he's had a quiet month, Armo, so he was unfortunately rested. No, we don't practice that. That's a bit of individual flair, Shane.
Yes.
It's still in the game today, and Zeebs is very good at it.
And we love him, very good player. I think North Melbourne will win. Sandlines won't play. Samuel?
Older folk wouldn't understand.
Old-timers, I think.
Old-timers, was it? Yeah. So the Dockers can't lose top spot?
Very unlikely.
Well, why don't they stop beating around the bush and not come over at all?
Well,
Just don't turn up?
The game the boys were alluding to, how long ago was that? 2 or 3 years?
2012.
They took half a side, basically.
Yep.
And,
why
And then came out and beat Geelong the next week in the first final.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, they did.
Well, why don't they not come at all, Gary?
Well, maybe Ross thinks that they might get this one out of the road and then they play Melbourne, I think, the week
Never
after.
give a sucker an even break. I think North, if they're going to stuff round with all that sort of nonsense...
Well, we're not saying
old-timers...
we're not saying they are.
You've got to freshen up for the finals.
When you're in that
Get yourself
position,
ready.
you're in a beautiful position where you can afford to.
I think Rossi's record stands for itself.
Thank you, Nick.
Exactly
Thank you,
right.
Force.
He's pulled the right rein on nearly every occasion.
Stop
So
that.
do you think who's going to win?
North Melbourne.
Well, Shane says that Aaron Sandland is not going to travel and Todd Goldstein's in the form he is. They most certainly will win.
Well, they will play this week without their sort of utility Nick Subin, who... Maston bit into Nick Subin.
Yep.
So we're going to have a look at this. This is what happened to him. He's got the chomper mark on there. And
unusual.
very unusual in the modern game. You have to go back to the 90s, the last time a player was outed for biting.
Yeah.
So it got us to thinking, Sam, about the worst thing that ever happened to you on a football field.
Me?
Yes.
Plenty of things.
What we want you to tell us that funny story you
Your
told
very
us.
worst one.
Well, no, that's not...
Well, it's not funny because it's
Thank
serious.
you, Gary. It's not a funny
Well,
story.
sort of
it's
was.
true.
It kind of was.
This is absolutely true how I first encountered the rigours and traumas of football.
Yep.
In my first year, we were playing Geelong.
Don't look at me.
Yes.
Geelong were playing Carlton out of Princes Park, and I used to partner the great Graham Farmer in the ruck. And if you'll appreciate, there was no square around the ground in those days, no circle, no line across the circle, only one umpire.
No TV.
And I used to run across the path of the opposing ruckman at the centre bounce, sort of pretending I was going for the ball but shepherding a bit. And
Smother it.
No, not that Farmer needed any help, but so they bounced. And the number one ruckman for Carlton on this particular Saturday was a guy by the name of Maury Sankey, the late Maury Sankey. He's no longer with us.
There's the late
That's
Maury.
right.
That's him.
So at the start of the game, this is absolutely true. They bounced the ball and I ran across Sankey's path for the first time and Farmer hit the ball to Bill Goggin, who ran out of the circle and kicked a goal on the run in the opening 3 seconds of the game. We hadn't moved out of the area where we'd contested the hit out, and while the boundary umpires were bringing the ball back to the centre, Sankey said to me, "Don't do that again." And I was 18 at the
Precocious.
time. And I was playing with the great farmer in front of 40,000 people, getting paid for something I actually enjoyed doing. And I drew myself up to my full height. I was about 11 stone in those days, and I looked Sankey square in the eye, and I won't tell you what I said to him, but I told him to go forth and multiply. Sankey never batted an eyelid. I thought, I'm actually intimidating people now. This is extraordinary. So the umpire bounced the ball again, and for the second time I ran across Sankey's path. He hit it to Bill Goggin again, who kicked it to Doug Wade, and I was waiting for Doug to go back and kick perhaps our second goal of the game in the opening 10 seconds of it, and Sankey knocked me out. It's humorous, isn't it? He round-armed me from behind, broke my jaw in 2 places. I had it wired up for 10 days. I could only take in liquid food for a week. And the only reason I bring this up is it's amazing the things that go through your mind when you're in a semi-stupor. I remember, this is true, I remember lying in the middle of the ground thinking how neatly I fitted in the circle. I didn't... that is true. I'm lying there like a railway sleeper. There's no chalk on my boots and none on my hair. And in those days, trainers, not the medical trained staff they are today, they were sort of plumbers and carpenters by the week, and then they'd come out with that mandatory damp cloth during the games because they were just bit players. So I got a broken jaw, and out came the trainer with the damn cloth, and he started rubbing my face down. I said, "Don't touch my jaw!" And Doug eventually kicked the second goal, and they brought the ball back to the centre, and the umpire went to bounce it, but old Dunder Clumpin's lying in the circle. And Polly was a very gracious man, and just liked to get on with business, no emotion and no nonsense with Polly. He said, "Bugger off, Sam." He said, "You're holding things up, and we're on a roll." And they took me down the forward pocket, and they held me up, and I fell over, and they held me up again, and I fell over. The 4th time I fell over, they just took me off the ground. That was it. So never turn my back on anyone that threatened me after that. That is true.
That's a great story, but what's it got to do with biting?
It has to do with your unfortunate... What is the worst thing that's ever happened to you, Shane?
One day I only got 30 possessions.
Let's have a look at this next game. Adelaide take on Brisbane. Adelaide Oval. And they have to keep winning Adelaide to make sure they see finals action. The danger been on fire. What's happening with him next year? Said that he's already signed a deal. People have said with Geelong during the week, he said that's absolute crap. Douglas and Shaw come in for Adelaide. Brisbane. Damo's already told us about the turmoil around that club. Old Daniel Richflavour comes out and Green comes in for the Lions, who make the trip, Gary, down to the Adelaide Oval. Going to be tough for him, Shane?
Yeah, Paddy Dangerfield on fire. Sam Jacobs too. Good to see him re-sign with Adelaide. I just think they're going wonderfully well, and they'll win again.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you there, Croft. I think the way Adelaide, particularly last week with the percentage boost, which is going to hold them in good stead come in a few weeks, if they are going to make it, that might get them over the line. The most exciting forward line in the competition at the moment. Adelaide playing some great footy, and they'll win comfortably.
Yeah, they've been incredible, the Adelaide players. I think it probably hasn't been recognised enough just how incredible they've been under the circumstances this year. And given what Damo said about Brisbane earlier, I think they'll keep on their winning ways.
Yes, Adelaide.
Things happening up at Brisbane, as Damien Barrett told us off the top of the show. Now, I can give you an update. Damo's going to come out in the next segment. Tom Rockcliffe, the captain of the Brisbane Lions, not happy. Had a fair crack at Damo in the ensuing time. So we'll get Damo back out. Because one thing I know about Damien Barrett, he goes with stuff that he knows is right. So he won't be backing down. So we'll get the updated version on what's happening there and the other details there on those 3 big clubs. Adelaide will win, by the way, and beat the Brisbane Lions. So...
Yes. So Mr. Rockcliffe has been watching the show, and he's heard what Mr. Barrett said, and he's cut up.
Yes.
And he's got on the phone to him.
Well, in the modern age, I think it's done via social media force.
I see.
So I think the message has got through to Damon. What?
What is that?
Twitter?
You're on Twitter. You're on Twitter. You just don't know it.
Anyway, so all that and more news. So stay with us. Damien Barrett out next.
under my skin.
It's coming.
1, 2, it's coming for you. 3, 4, don't go through those doors. 5, 6, you'll all look like dicks. 7, 8, hours you'll hate. 9, 10, Big Bill's house, it's back. Amen! Gazza, Jim, Foss and Crawl, your worst nightmare is back. Enjoy your time in Big Bill 3. I love it. Enjoy your time in Big Bill 3.
So welcome you back to the Footy Show.
Yes!
I only did the second Big Bill, Gary. I wasn't involved in the first one. I, like you all, get asked about it a lot. I can comfortably say in 2014 it was the worst day of the year by a mile.
I'm with you, Jim, and I thought that was it at the end of last year.
Well, it was my favourite day of the year, and I can't wait.
No,
when are we doing it?
I went so far as to say when I re-signed, because we're all are on contracts here, and when your contract's up, and one of my stipulations was I'll re-sign if I don't have to do the Big Bill household, or whatever it's called. And they said, well, if you want to be on the Footy Show, you'll sign and you'll be doing the Big Bill's house, or it's up to you. So I actually signed that I'd do it. But that was one of my stipulations, that I would not do it.
Well, it is properly horrific. And on that cheery note, put your hands together and welcome the man behind it, Bill Brandlett.
Sucked in, boss. It'll be good, guys.
You do enjoy it, don't you?
It's good sitting up there telling you blokes what to do.
Because you got power for one of the rare times over the force next to you, particularly.
Yeah, and you don't like it.
I hate it.
You don't. So we've got Warwick Capper coming in again, I think. You don't like it, Jimmy boy?
No, it's horrendous. And Gary gets grumpy at the 3rd minute.
Yes.
And you're in there for 24 hours and he just cracks it.
What about him?
And then Foss cracks it.
Mate, we've got fruit. We've got snakes and spiders. We've got everything. Here it is here. So it's Big Bill's house number 3. Croft just stirs them up beautifully. Be playing some fun games like that.
Little Ripper! Shane, you'll be there again. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, very much looking forward to it. Would love some suggestions too of things we could possibly do in the house. So send them to Bill. Get involved. And when are we doing it, Bill?
In a couple of weeks it'll be on, Shane. So we've got to be locked away for a good night.
Yes.
And spend the night together.
I could just give you one tip, Jim.
What?
You tend to not remember that you've got the microphone on, but when you're asked, the worst thing I could do is spend a week in that shithole called Ararat. I'd remember that this show goes to Ararat and it goes around the...
I was just trying to engender some conversation because Gary hadn't spoken for 4 hours and you were
Well, I
just
engendered
curled up
some
in
conversation up at Ararat. They were nice and ticked off.
But the public do like it. That's the feedback. They love it and they want it. So we're going to bring it to them. So it's on. So sucked in, Foss.
No, I might get the Nick and the 2 Nicks could come and visit us for an hour.
That'd be good.
They'd have an hour.
Busy.
Real busy. Don't even know when it is.
We can reenact the wedding again. That'd be good.
Oh, thanks, Bill.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Bring your cankles in and we can
You could inspect your underwear after 12 hours.
Hey, all right, well, let's not look forward to that. But I want to ask you, Bill, we have a lot of fun with you and we put a lot on you, but there's a very, I would imagine, a significant moment in your footy life anyway on the weekend where you were asked by the Geelong Footy Club, Chris Scott and the team, to come in moments before they ran out to take on the Hawks at the MCG, which is probably their biggest game of the year. And your great mate was playing game number 250, the old chomper, Stevie J, and you wandered into the inner sanctum, just Chris Scott and the 22 players a couple of minutes before they ran out.
Yes, that is right. And it was an honour, Gaz, because Joel Selwood rang me and asked me to come down.
Present him with his jumper. You
And they gave Steve Hocking, said, righto, go into the room, and it's only the players, which you don't see. You do not see. Shut up. And it's just the players and Chris Scott. I walk in there with a jumper. Chompers is there, and I just said a few things about what a privilege it is to wear the blue and white hoops. Or any
That's it.
jumper.
Sure,
Any,
Shut up for us.
any jumper. And how good it is as a pass player to go back in there, because you don't see this, and gave the jumper to Steve-O and said a few words about being proud to wear the jumper, proud to that you're playing in front of 50,000 members out there, past players, supporters, fans, whatever it is. So
And
gave him a bit of a rev.
and what happened then?
At quarter time, Hawthorn 7 goals, Geelong 2.
Bill, did you or did you not get a touch emotional?
Oh, don't tell me you cried.
No, I didn't. I had to check myself. No, I because it was very emotional.
And Stevie and you are great mates,
Yeah.
so...
And we had a hug.
Nothing wrong with crying. Did you cry?
No, real
No,
men
I
don't
didn't
cry, Shane. Come on.
No, I didn't cry.
If you're a real
I
man,
got
you
a
don't
shut
cry.
up.
You can't cry because of the way they've sucked your face back. It's almost impossible to do that. Nothing wrong with crying, Bill.
But no, it was good. It was a very good.
Did you give that cliched crap about guts and determination and get out there and bleed? Did you...
to wear the jumper, Fox?
Get in and smother the
No, I
bounce.
didn't do that. But you know what your problem? You're so negative.
No, I'm not negative.
You'd go in there and say, the game's shit, the umpires are no good.
You were just
Very
negative to that
Well,
question.
no, well, I would say that, yes. But, no, I'm objective, Bill. But you've got to think outside the square. You've got to be a bit Edward de Bono-ish. Don't you? It's like speaking to a forest full of trees. They're looking at you and not paying any attention. Don't just say, "Oh, I feel proud," and do it for the club, and you got the hoops on, and I hope you go well, and all the best.
Who's
Rubbish.
Edward de Bono?
That is rubbish from you.
Yeah.
The only thing you have to be is yourself, and you have to be genuine. And whatever else comes out is irrelevant. If it comes from the heart, and you did get emotional, don't pretend you didn't. And why would you be embarrassed about being emotional and showing your emotions? You've got an issue.
Because
you've got an issue.
Yeah, you have, Fox.
And
don't you forget I'm a dinosaur.
You are, but I've been emotional. I know Nick. I don't want to embarrass him. Nick Rewald has. Shane has.
Never ever have I been emotional.
Nicky Dell.
Suki Lala.
Yeah.
Now, so what is your problem with
Being
that?
emotional. What? Standing up in front of people and
Hey,
saying, "Get out there, boys."
Whatever.
Did you say anything that they might think, "Now that's interesting. That's different. I haven't heard that before."
No, the feedback's been good, let me tell you. Because they thought I'd go in and say, try and be funny or something, and they were taking
I'll be funny before a big game against Hawthorn.
They were taken aback, let me tell you. They were very fired up, ready to go,
Bill,
except for the score.
as a former great of the club,
Yes.
I think it's absolutely appropriate that you went in there
Yeah,
and did that,
yeah.
and it
Yeah.
is
On
fantastic.
you, Bill.
Good on you. Thank you, boys.
Right.
But it is good to get the past players back, I would assume.
Yeah, it is. We had past players present our jumpers. We shared our 250th game, and Danny Frawley presented my jumper
Oh,
to
he
me.
would have cried.
Speaking of
Did he
crying,
break
yeah.
down?
No, he didn't actually. I'm not plugger, so...
But you've got to have people who are articulate
No, you
and can
don't.
speak
No, you don't.
and not verbose.
That's rubbish.
Yeah.
And not what, Gary?
That's
And
rubbish.
don't bloviate.
That's
You've got to
ru-
have people.
No,
You've got to say.
the only person you're impressing with those words are yourself.
Self.
Yes, that's right. Who's Edward de Bono?
Did you ever?
The lead singer of U2.
You ever addressed? What have you ever dressed them broken down while you're addressing them? And they think, well, there's a nice example. The man's got a soul about as strong as a bloody.
So it shows that he cares. That he's
cares.
invested.
They want to be
invested.
inspired. They don't
And
want to see
genuine,
someone
unlike
blubbering.
you. Unlike you, that's not genuine.
You've got an
You're not genuine.
You only say things.
Yeah, no, Bill,
Big
I'll
words.
tell you how genuine you are. I've been doing this
Oh,
show
don't
with
tell
you
me.
for
I
20...
pick Geelong every week.
Every week? You're just a suckhole.
Well, that's a piss.
He's a star of his club and well respected, and I say
you,
well
Bill.
done.
Yes.
No, I'm not.
Exactly right.
What game have you got?
We've got a great game
I'm not
coming up.
disagreeing with that, Gary.
Taking on the Cats. Let's have a look at the Saints, the mighty Saints. And a lot of changes this week. Have a look at this. Ray, Savage, Shenton, Dunstan, Membry, Murdoch and Holmes, which Nick Rewad will talk about. So congratulations to him. We wish him all the very best. And up against the mighty Cats, Bill's mob. Lonigan comes in, Vardy comes in. Also Hughes, out goes Kelly, Stokes and also Rivers. The Cats are going okay. They defeated the Saints last time. They played them by about 98 points. That won't happen this time. They will win, but good luck to Jason Holmes in his first game.
Hey, that is before we get your thoughts, Dal, Rui, that is an extraordinary thing. The first ever American-born player to play AFL football.
Yeah, it's a great achievement. His story is a really interesting one. He's only been here for the 2 years, played college basketball in America, so clearly a really talented athlete, but to come and learn a foreign game, he'd never seen a game of footy before, as we see some vision.
How tall?
He's 6'7". He's just over 200. He's a good size. He's really great in the middle. His tap work's great, and it's no surprise that he's getting an opportunity because the way he's gone about learning the game and his professionalism, having that college background, has been first class.
So it's about learning.
Yeah, he kicks it well.
Learning the craft. I mean, from a ruck, I've seen it with Jim, of course, that come out and had never really seen the game and was able to become one of, if not the greatest, one of the all times. But is it playing in the ruck makes it a little bit easier? I'm not being derogatory, but is that simplify things a bit?
Well, I think it suits the body type. Yes. You know, a lot of college athletes, you know, basketballers are generally going to be big, so they're going to find it difficult to come over and play in the midfield. But I mean, there's nothing tokenistic about it. He's earned his spot. He's performed really well in the VFL all year, and I hope he goes well on Saturday.
I think he was being a touch derogatory.
Oh, don't be patronising, Gary.
He's going to ruck against the steeplechaser. Didn't play footy up until 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Tough gig.
Dal, who's winning this game?
Yeah, well, I would have thought with the amount of injuries, obviously a really tough game for the Saints last week. A little bit battered, and Armitage getting dropped again. I think the Cats will have to get up on Saturday night.
I'll go with the Cats, Sam. But Nathan Vardy's a good story because he's had a couple of real big injuries. He's played about 5 games in the VFL. So, and Daniel Menzel, who is not in the VFL this week either. So he's going to rest for the whole weekend. And then probably plays the weekend after against Collingwood on Friday night.
Breaking news from our man who's been down in the...
Could you get a 2-shot on us? I look like I've been in a famine, and he looks like the bloke who started it. Gary, now listen, I'm just announced this now. If you would like to engage me for an insightful, inspiring address, right into the footy show, I won't charge. I'll come down. I'll do much better than what he did. I'll inspire you. I'll inspire you with some well-chosen, articulate words. Now, can I also say something?
Goes under the name Tin Man. He's got no emotion. Come on.
Oh, well, you don't want to break
Tin Man,
down.
what have you got?
Now, can I just... Now, you say I knocked the game.
You do.
Could you explain this to me? Oh. There was 5 sides last week that lost by a hell of a big margin, some of them by over 100 points. I want to know why, and this is nothing to do per se with your side, Nick, but... We took examples from every side that lost by a big margin, and halfway through the quarter, the last quarter, they were playing football like this. Now this is St Kilda.
Well, this is Nick's side. So
I said I'm not. This is St Kilda, who are well and truly gone, stuffing round the half-back line, chipping backwards. Why would you bother? And every side that got beaten by flogged in the last quarter was still chipping it round the back line. Why? What is the point of that?
Well, it's indefensible. I agree with you.
Why do you do it? Not you. I'm not having a go at you.
You really don't like it because it doesn't get down to you quick enough.
We've put a line through it, and Alan Richardson, part of the reason we've brought in Jason Holmes is we've got a new game plan this week. So we've watched a bit of vision during the week, and this is why Holmes is coming to the team.
He's about smothering.
Last week, I told a lie. I said at a derby game, which they call it because they're illiterate, at a derby game over in Perth, I said there were 42 people in the forward 50 of the West Coast Eagles. I told a lie. This is a photograph of the derby. You can see those 2 people in front of trainers, and to the right of the screen is the 50-metre arc of the West Coast Eagles, and there's not one player that's not in the 50-metre arc. That is why that is why people are not going to the football.
That
is not the way to play football.
Yes, well, that's the 6th time we've heard it, but...
well, why do they keep doing it?
Well, I don't know, to be honest.
Why would you chip the ball around the back line when you're 100 points
I'm not sure. Why would you keep talking when we've got to get off here at 10:30?
Gary, just before we move on really quickly, Lavington Football Club this weekend. We had Matty's match a month ago, St Kilda v Richmond, which was really well received. And thanks to my mate Cozzy up at Lavington, they're wearing the purple Matty's match jerseys this week. In their game against Wangaratta, and Lenny Hayes is going up as a special guest for the.
It's got a function up there, isn't it?
Yeah. anyone up in the Ovens and Murray area, I encourage you to get along to the game and support a great cause in Matty Reebok.
So who's at the train and where is the game?
Wangaratta and Lavington.
On Saturday.
On Saturday.
Well done to Cosy, and well done to everyone else that
Yep.
continues to support the great cause. We mentioned Damien Barrett. He was here early with news about the Brisbane Lions. There's an update on that. But before we get to that, Damo, what can you tell us about, welcome back, what can you tell you about Hawthorn and Harley Bennell?
Yeah, Gaz, we can add the Hawks to the list of clubs considering attracting him to their operations. He's contracted, as we know, for 2016 and 17. He has had his troubles off field. Clubs are circling him, and we do expect there to be lots of discussions around him in the trade period. But Hawthorn, just dotting the I's and crossing the T's on whether they make a significant offer, because as we know, when they go for a player, they do get their man.
Damo, hold it there. I just seen Nick Revolt fall off his chair here.
How? Hawthorn. How do they fit them all in?
I know.
They've still got a bit of money left over from the Buddy Franklin departure, believe it or not, and they are just examining that whole process as we speak. Collingwood, big week off-field for them. Managed to secure another major long-term sponsor on very good money. Now giving consideration to getting involved in a franchise which will become part of a new basketball competition which will be started in 2017. Could well see the Collingwood name attached to one of those new franchise teams in the basketball competition in that year. Carlton, we saw today Lockie Henderson saying that he would not be playing the remaining 3 games of the season, going elsewhere. We expect that to be Geelong. Fellow big man at Carlton, the ruckman, Matty Cruiser, now put together a nice patch of games, having suffered some serious foot injuries, and is attracting interest from other clubs. He's out of contract, he's a free agent. There are good offers now in front of him, and with 3 rounds to go, he's got a very big decision to make.
Rightio, Damo. Always interesting time of the year coming into the round 23, so trades are going on everywhere. You started your segment tonight with the disharmony at the Brisbane Lions. You went with some strong news. You've had some follow-up from the Brisbane Lions players.
Yeah, I think we've got this on Twitter now from Tom Rockcliffe, do we? Why doesn't
Let me read it, Warrior. Why doesn't Barrett have the balls to call me in chat instead of making shit up at Dane Zorko and a very close junk report?
Well, of course he's denied that, Gaz. Tom denies a lot of things. We'll just back over what we did say. His captaincy methods are causing concern amongst the Brisbane Lions playing group, and that does include Dane Zorko, who's a fellow leadership group member. We did also state that Rockcliffe has the full backing with how he's going about his stuff by the coach Justin Lepich. He's aggressive. He tells players how it is. But we just back over it again. He is causing concerns with how he goes about his captaincy.
All right. Well, I will say this, that I've known Damien Barrett for a long time. He's the most respected journalist in the game, and he wouldn't go with stuff that he doesn't know.
Absolutely. That's why we have him on the show.
That's exactly right. So we stand by for the response.
He counters the nonsense I speak.
Exactly. And we appreciate you coming on. Please thank Damien Barrett.
Well done, Bill. Yep. What are you doing? You're done now, you're off?
I'll go a couple of frothies out the back and wait for you boys, I suppose. The dog's gone.
Yes, the dog's gone home. That was a winner. Yeah. Hey, we're going to take a break.
Oh, he's filthy. The dog didn't go down well with you, Gary.
You told it to sit in its basket.
I did I?
Well, it's your dog.
I didn't even know it was coming into your walk now.
Well, it would recognise you as an owner. It'd have a scent of yours in its nostrils, wouldn't it? It must say, here's my master. If it says sit, if he says sit, I should sit. It never took any notice of you. It wreaked havoc behind the desk here.
The back off Rui's chair.
Yeah, we're going to take a break. Dave Hughes coming out next.
Still to come tonight, a jaw-dropping almost footy legends. A couple of the superstars from the all-conquering D's v Doggies women's game will swing in. Plus, Street Talk from Oakley, all about etiquette.
Etiquette is about, of course, coming to grips with a lot of things, including the English language. I'd suggest Tony puts an apostrophe between the Y and the S. It's his hardware store.
But next, our man Dave Hughes drops by. Stay with us. It'll be more fun than a fart blaster.
Cop that, minion.
Nice shooting, Swanee.
Well, welcome back to the Footy Show. As we said off the top, it was a massive news week, plenty going on, and it's been a very serious show, some tension during the ad break, so I've got to lighten things up. And we love having Dave Hughes here. He has a unique look at the week in footy. Welcome, Huey.
Thank you.
Nice to see you.
Great to to be here.
Huey, yeah, call him. What? Can't call him Huey?
You can call me Hugh if you want to, mate.
He's round 21 fight.
Just relax, just go with it, I say.
You were at the fight last night too.
I was. It was a great, good on everyone involved.
You got in the ring afterwards?
Hughesy was in the ring before the fight had actually finished.
Yeah, what was that about?
Oh, I'm just Snapchat crazy.
Hey, lots of sides haven't quite got the job done. Port Adelaide is one that I think's a massive disappointment.
Yeah, but some unfair criticism for Port Adelaide this week. They played GWS, and some of the injured players were captured here looking at their phones. Have a look at it. They're looking at their phones while the game's on.
Yeah.
Should be watching the game, people are saying. They're all on their phones, you know. But what were they doing on their phones? I'll tell you. They were looking at an inspiring Snapchat picture from their president. This is what they were looking at.
Oh, come on.
Koshy right there is going, I'm right behind you guys. So, yeah, no, it's great stuff.
As Gaz said, there's been plenty for you to work with this week, Hughesy. The biting controversy.
I don't think we've made enough of that, guys. Right. I mean, Chris Marston basically took a piece out of Nick Sibbons' forearm.
Yes.
And there was evidence clearly straight after it happened. Have a look at, here he is. Oh, yeah, that was that. That was entree. He's looking at Aaron Sandland's thigh for main course, basically. But some of the Eagles players are unhappy with how it all went down. Because Subban said he bit me, and he did bite him. Yeah. It was clearly evident. But some of the tweets came out from, this is Will Schofield. Mark down today's date in your calendar, the players' code is no more. And then Jacob Brennan said this, good luck next derby, Subban. Dog act. A dog act is biting someone. Subban didn't read that because he was in the hospital trying to get a bloody rabies shot. It was unbelievable, I reckon. But apparently you're not allowed to talk about it. Apparently it's Bite Club, you know. The first rule of Bite Club is you don't mention it. The Eagles got asked about it at training. Have a look at this.
Hey Josh, have you seen Chris? Anyone seen Chris Maston?
No one's
spoken to Chris Maston?
No, apparently no one's spoken.
Mate, have you seen Chris Maston?
No, they haven't. Apparently, no, he was back in his kennel, apparently. No, but it's ridiculous. We actually got vision of Marston going into the tribunal. Here he is. Here. I mean, that's good stuff. Don't worry about that. Thank you.
Always plenty of material there. Plenty of material, and Magpies can't make the 8. That's
very sad. Collingwood can't make the 8. It's really sad. And you know, at the moment, I knew it wasn't going to happen. It was Sydney again on Saturday night. And Bucks was in the coach's box. Have a look at this. Bucks is asleep, basically. He's asleep. He's having a nap, and he goes, "Bucks, you're on TV. Wake up, mate." All right? That's really sad. And you know what? This next bit I'm a bit nervous about. I won't deny that. Eddie Maguire is a great friend of this show. We know that. And he's a brilliant commentator. He's a brilliant commentator.
Very, very good.
But I'm going to show a very smooth moment from his commentary on Sunday. I'm going to be honest here. I believe Eddie got confused about which way Richmond were kicking. And just have a look at the commentary and how he tries to recover. Just watch this and listen.
Dustin Martin flicks it out. Lambert has been excellent today. The ball comes out now. Here's a chance. Hunt into the open goal all over the top. And he's able to just transfer play. They're just wide open out there.
Yeah, it wasn't an open goal, mate, because they were Richmond defenders. We love Eddie, there's no doubt about that. But it's not easy. Talking's not easy. I get it wrong a lot. And but I can say, guys, when you're in a press conference, don't go for big words. Big words are not your friend. And as Dale Morris found out in a press conference during the week, check this out.
Melbourne were going to come back at us, and we knew it was going to come, but yeah, we haven't been in that position in a long, long time, and we've actually been on the receiving end of that as well over the years. So you got to keep everything in, you know, in.
Perspective, mate. No, he eventually found it, but it took him a long time.
Well, what did you make of the Bombers in the week they've had?
Oh, it was tough for the Bombers, no doubt about that, but I'm having a go at one Essendon member here. This is on Tuesday, the day Hurdy resigned, and this is an Essendon member, ripped his membership up and said, oh, yeah, I'm making a protest, yeah? Oh, big deal, mate. One home game to go, you know? Carlton members ripped their membership up at round 3, mate. Right? So, there's no doubt about that. But I love Hurdy. I love the fact that he showed a lot of class. He did on
I thought he did.
He did a lot of class, and he gave a lot of people shout-outs on when he like, just watch this, all right? Shout-outs.
I picked Joe Watson up for his first ever training session. He was late, and we got in trouble from Sheeds because we were both late, but I won't hold that against him. And I'm David Zaharaka, so although I kick him up the backside for maybe being a bit soft in a contest now and then. He's a terrific person. I can go on about people, but
They don't want you to, mate. Jeez, she was whacking him on the way out.
I was watching that and I did think Olzaka wouldn't have really liked that one. Not the glowing tribute.
Well,
on
he's
the way out.
inspired him for the rest of his career, and he's a good player, Zach Garakis.
What about Jake Carlisle?
Yeah, well, I was unhappy with the headline in the Herald Sun yesterday. Jake Spray, I do the sprays around here, mate, not you. But also, apparently, he's been having a go at the other players, and I actually noticed he was scared of Hurdy, even in Hurdy's exit bloody press conference. Watch this. Here he comes into the hoodie here. He's like, no, I need to be behind. I can't be in front. There he is. I need to be... Get out of the way, mate. I need to go behind you. I need to go behind you. Don't want anyone to see me. Don't want to be noticed. Don't want to get on TV. Don't want anyone to draw any attention to me. So I'm just going to hide here. Yeah, I'm going to hide here. We're going to be fine. And then I'm going to stay behind here. And I'm going to stay behind here. No one will know I was here. Well, guess what, Jakey? We notice you, mate. Ordinary.
Hughesy, your side, Carlton, not going all that well.
No, why would you say that just because we got beaten by 10 goals by the bottom team? Yeah, no, we're not going well. There's no doubt about it.
My side, Melbourne, who haven't been going that well either.
Yeah, no, we're excited about that game. But you know what I like? I like Jamison. After the game on the weekend, Mitch Robinson wanted to shake his hand. Mitch was on the opposition. Check how this went. He goes up to him there, he goes, shake me hand, and Jammer goes, nah, you beat me, mate. I'm not shaking your hand. Nah, not shaking your hand. I mean, he knows where Mitch Robinson's hands have been, basically.
Oh, no.
No, but I mean, the fact is, it doesn't always work shaking someone's hand after a game. Stevie Johnson and Crowley aren't friends. Have a look at those guys. Here they are. Let's roll this on and see how this handshake went after the game. Here you go, shake your hand. Yeah, there, all right. Yeah, look how much friends they are here. And one more go. All right, yeah, let's have another go. No, they hate each other. And shaking hands isn't always the go, all right? Have a look in the Masters here. Shake your hand. That didn't work. All right. What about a fist bump in the NBA? Look, right hand top screen. Look at the fist bump. The white guy wants a fist bump. Give us a... We're all in this together. 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 Nah. That guy, he ended up fisting himself, basically.
Well, stay with us on that note. Let's have a look at Carlton taking on Melbourne on Sunday at the MCG. Hughes' boys are last on the ladder. Got the number one draft pick at the moment. Lost to Brisbane by 64 points. Lockie Henderson is gone. He's out of here. We'll ask the boys about that shortly. And it was a pretty lamentable 3 quarters after they led at quarter time, it has to be said. They take on Melbourne and talk about lamentable. 98 points. I wouldn't be clapping. 98 points against the Western Bulldogs. That was just an embarrassment. It's about 70-2 at one stage. Jetta and Jones are out. J-Mar Riley, Newton Salem and Billy Stretch come back into the squad. MCG, Saturday afternoon.
Melbourne had an off week, and we all have an off week. So I think they'll bounce back and they'll have a good win against the Blues.
Yeah, obviously a disappointing weekend for the D's last week, but I actually think their pressure's been a lot better this year, Gaz, and I think they'll just creep over the line here.
I want to ask you too, and Shane, you can weigh in as well, being a former captain of an AFL club. Lockie Henderson, 3 games to go, walks into the club today and says to the players, I'm leaving at the end of the year. Johnny Barker, the interim coach, says, fair enough, leave now, out the door. How do you handle that? I mean, it's going to happen more and more as we go forward, I would imagine.
Yeah, I think it's fair enough. As a player and as a leader of a football club, if a player came to you and said that they were out, they'd checked out mentally, they'd checked out emotionally, well, I wouldn't want to play with them for the rest of the year, especially when there are other players on the list that are playing for their careers. They deserve the spot more than, in this case, Lockie does.
It's different, isn't it? In the NRL, which is done all the time and they happily play out and they're celebrated. Will we ever get to that stage or not?
Well, I think this is probably the first time and the advertisement isn't a good one for people that want to come out and announce it earlier in the year. So I don't think it'll happen very often.
Well, I find it unusual why he would come out 3 games, 2.5 weeks before the season finishes anyway. I mean, it's been happening a little bit over recent years, probably with players having a bit more freedom to move. But I do find it unusual, but I do agree with Rui. If you don't want to be there, everyone else seems like they're committed or trying to improve, and if you don't want to be a part of it, that's fine. Just do it somewhere else.
Buddy Franklin, some say, had decided, well before the halfway mark of the season he was out, stayed, was a star, helped them win a premiership, and then moved. I mean, if we were to take your line of thought, he would have been gone in round 4.
Do you think Carlton has still a chance for the premiership, mate?
No, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but I think in that situation, Buddy had reconciled the fact that he was potentially going to move on. We don't know that for sure, but he was still a contributor. He was still a star in a premiership team. Lockie's basically flown the flag and said, I've had enough, I want out. As soon as you communicate that to the playing group and everyone knows that, well, it's untenable. I think it's very difficult for you to stay and
of
part
course,
the team.
Lockie wouldn't do that if Carlton were going to play in the finals. So
Well, Lockie was going to get dropped. That's the other thing this week.
And the fact is that you wouldn't play him because if you're not going to make the finals, as Nick says, you would give some people a chance to blood themselves in some senior games before the season ends. So it's a pragmatic decision. If he's going to play in the finals, he wouldn't have said that.
Your thoughts on this game, Forsell?
Wow. And now Paul Roos, who's a very good man. I like him. Don't know him very well, but he's a good man. Had the audacity to say, if you knock the game, it's a disgrace. This is a side that got beaten by 98 points. And they were chipping the ball around in the last half. At the last half of the last quarter, they're still chipping the ball around the back line. Why, when you're 98 points down, Paul? I have no idea. But maybe they'll beat Carlton. They will beat Carlton.
Yeah.
Everyone will beat Carlton.
Well, this is of interest to us because the whole Lockie Henderson scenario was picked up by one man way before anyone else. If you have a listen during the Carlton spray, this is what Hughesy had to say.
Lockie Henderson, where's Lockie? Mate, you're the sensitive one in the group, aren't you? You're always worrying about everyone's feelings. What are we going to do when you up to Geelong next year, mate? We're going to be sad.
Very sensitively.
Can I say that I was inspired to say that by some of the people at Carlton? I won't name them, but they said get into Lockie, and I did. I know, because the love's gone. It's like you're in a marriage when you don't want to be there. There's no action. You know what I mean?
You finished him.
I didn't finish him. I just patted him on the back. Have a laugh. Let's move on with our lives.
He just fixed me up.
No, it's fine.
That's it.
I
like it.
Is that what happens in marriages, Sam?
Well, wait, when it's over...
Is it over?
Yeah, mate. It's
How do you keep that spark going?
You don't, Shane.
Oh, you don't.
The reruns never work. When it's over, it's over. Move on.
How many wives have you had?
Don't be stupid, Shane.
Hey, thank Dave Hughes, everybody. Fantastic job as always. Hughesy, you're a star. Let's take a look at the Gold Coast and Essendon. This game, of course, at Metricon Stadium Saturday. And a very interesting game it is too, as to how these two go about. Not much to play for either. Harbrow, Dixon, Nichols, Cameron and Boston out. Kolajasny has been a decent player for the Gold Coast Suns, who have been smashed with injury. It has to be said, there are the ins for them as we have a look at the Bombers. Again, huge list of outs, but Hurley is a very good player, comes back in along with Ambrose, O'Brien, McKernan and Fantasia. BJ Goddard, your old teammate Rui and Dal, a very good player last week. What's going to happen?
Oh, look, I think Essendon will respond. I think they'll feel like the shackles have been released to a certain extent. Well, at least you would hope so, because that was the message from James, that he wanted to free the players up and thought that would be achieved with him stepping down. So I certainly hope so for the players' sake. They've been through the ringer, and I hope they get up there and have a good win.
Yep. Sammy, you love this game. A combined losing score of just under 200 last week between these two teams.
Still chipping the ball around the back line.
Well, they'll chip it against each other this week, so it might be a good spectacle. I think the Gold Coast will get over the line up there.
Wayne?
I agree with Nick. I really do. I think it's a fresh start for them. Hopefully the mindset's not too bad, and I reckon Essendon can win.
Force?
No. They're threadbare, Essendon. They've lost everything. They're just not with
Do you want to give you the State of the Nation address now?
Yeah, I do. No, look.
You want the glasses?
Here. I'll be 90 seconds, Gary. If I go over 90 seconds, I don't want to dwell on this. Don't start till I tell you to, right? And this is not starting now. Men and women. That's what Gough Whitlam means, men and women.
No, it is starting now.
No, it's not starting now.
Oh, hang on.
We're trying to save the brand known as we're trying to save the brand known as AFL football. This is the greatest disaster since the code started 150 years ago. What's going on in Essendon? What's going on in Essendon? The AFL should ask the Australian government, bringing politics into sport, if they could unhitch themselves from the Asada Wada caravan that is ruining this game. Why can't... Thank you, sir. What about the workers? What about the workers, indeed, sir? Why can't the AFL, and the reason the government should step in is because They administer sports funds to the sporting code, so you've got to do it through government agencies. Why can't the AFL, who is a small sporting entity in the least populated continent in the world besides the Antarctic, it's not an international sport, why can't the AFL self-regulate itself, get rid of ASADA and WADA, and and that is the way to finish this, because this will go on and on, trashing our brand, trashing what we have known. People's lives are being ruined, the sport's being ruined, because it is just going on and there's no end in sight, because we're going to kowtow to a world drug agency which has nothing to do with this code.
Hang on.
And you say?
You've got 9 seconds to go.
Right,
don't give him
why
any
did you
more.
go like that?
I gave you a 1 minute mark.
Okay.
Ready? 9
the
seconds. Hang
NRL,
on. 9 seconds, go.
The NRL did their business with the Storm. They got that over in relative terms a minute.
3,
and why we trashed James Hird, who has done absolutely... James Hird has done absolutely nothing wrong, and it's the tall poppy syndrome. Why do you keep trashing him? What's he done that has been so disgraceful?
You made a grave error allowing those extra 9 seconds. I thought he had a nice out point and then back in again. We're going to take a break. I'll tell you what we're going to do next. We've got Street Talk from Oakley, not far away, but we've got 2 magnificent women that played in an incredible game of footy last weekend, and we need to talk to them. That's next on The Footy Show.
It is now time for Almost Footy Legends. And away we go. Have a look at this. For some creative work from the big full forward. A sausage right in the goal square. Thank you very much. Have a look at this. Just get the leg to it and snap it over the shoulder. Beautiful goal. Well done.
The casual celebration there too. Next up, Subiaco v Peel Thunder. Courage back with the flight.
Oh! Where's he gone?
Over he goes.
And,
a lot of courage there. Jonathan Brown-like, and 10 points for the dismount. Next up, Geelong Amateurs v Barwon Heads. We've got the big hang-dang here.
Whoa, bit of air time, bit of Nick Revolt there.
Never done it once in my life. But that's a specky. What do you reckon, Crawford?
That's a very good hang. I like number 2, but I think we should go with the audience. Do we like number 1? The sausage? What about number 2 falling over the boundary line? And what about Nick Revolt's favourite, the beautiful Specky? Okay, number 2, you have won this. Congratulations.
Mr. Sportsbet. Our weekly winner takes home $1,000 cash, while our runners-up get $500 each. Boost your odds on the AFL and make it a multi with Sportsbet. Thanks to Home Timber and Hardware, our major winner receives $5,000 in gift cards and a toolbox full of $45,000 in cold, hard cash. That's a $50,000 prize. How's that to help you go hard towards the renovation you've always wanted? So, to put the hard back into hardware, go where the tradies go. Home Timber and Hardware.
The GPO Box 9, Melbourne, Victoria, 3001. Or upload, go to footyshow.com.au. Get yourself involved. Now, Gary Lyon has 2 very special guests. Over to you, Gary.
I have 2 genuine stars of AFL football. That's what I've got right here, Shane. There was a massive game of footy on the weekend, the second of the games between the Melbourne women's team and the Western Bulldogs women's team. And we've got the captains of both sides, Daisy Pearce and Steph Kiochi are here. And I should say, and hand high in the air, I've never watched a women's game of footy in my life, for no other reason than I haven't had the chance. I sat down and watched the first half of your game on the weekend, and congratulations to both of you and your teams by extension. It was a rating success on the 7 network, who showed it prior to the game. It was at Etihad Stadium. You must have been thrilled with the response, first of all, Daisy, because the Demons won, and we love that as well.
Yeah, it was a great game, and always good to get a win, especially for Melbourne, who have been great supporters of women's footy for a long time. They've been financial supporters of the Women's Football League here in Victoria for 6 years, and as you know, Gaz. They've got a really proud history, and now they've added to that history by having the first women's team. So to get the result for the club was great, but it was just a huge success for the game of women's football, really. And as you said, to have it broadcast on national TV was a huge breakthrough, and hopefully another step towards a national competition for us one day.
We can hear some applause because we've got some highlights playing at the moment. I would imagine there'd be some people in the audience who haven't seen this game. Go and watch it, Steph, because the skills, and I'm not being condescending one bit, the skills were fantastic. And I'll tell you what else was eye-catching was how tough it was. It was hard footy.
Yeah, it is hard footy, and I think people underestimate females when it comes to that, but the girls play it just as hard as the boys, and it is very, very physical. So, you know, I encourage everyone to have a look at it, and we're looking at having a national league in a few years' time, and I think it's giving young girls something to aspire to.
I'm going to get details about that because we've got a big women's game of footy this weekend, but a head clash days you're involved in. Now, you won the MVP, I think, where you had 30-odd touches. Oh. Have a look at this head clash, if you don't mind. You got up and carried on. Was there a blood rule, I think? Did the Western Bulldog...
Yeah, she went off with the blood rule. She's got a bit of a sore cheek at the moment and black eye. So.
Now, you girls, we should explain for those that aren't aware, this is a draft system in place. So effectively, these are the best female players in the country who are drafted as we see in the draft take place in the AFL. So you guys are playing against each other on the weekend. Captain of Darebin versus the captain of Diamond Creek. That's a big final. Samuel might go along. We'll have a talk about that in a moment. But, I mean, this was the best talent on display. And we got enough talent to spread across 6 teams, which I think is where we want to get to.
Yeah, it's certainly getting there. There's been a lot of work done at grassroots and junior level over the last few years. A lot of work being put into game development, ensuring the pathway is complete. So girls can now play from Auskick right up until the exhibition game that you see there. So I think that's now increasing the talent pool because girls aren't getting lost to other sports. They can play footy and have a footy in their hand for their whole lives. And you look at the young talent coming through and you can certainly see that they're not just athletes now, they're footballers, and it's only a matter of years before that talent pool really explodes. So I think the talent's definitely there.
It was some unbelievable footy. Now, Samuel, you did shoot your mouth off earlier in the night. He's got his Demons jacket on again. He's back on board. What about giving the girls an address?
Yeah, I'll give you an address. 38 Railway Cutting. No. Daisy,
what do we bring,
the
Sam?
chaps up in the long room are mighty proud of you. You couldn't marshal the lasses together and at short notice and take on Carlton on the weekend for us, could you? You'd do better than the main side. And very well done, Daisy. Extraordinary. We're very proud of you in the long room there, Gary. Your old side, Melbourne.
Well, Daisy's team, now, girls, you're playing on the weekend. It's a semi-final, but you two against...
It's not this weekend, but the following weekend we start finals, but top 2 positions are locked in, so we know that it'll be the Darebin Falcons versus Diamond Creek.
And which of you two are going to draw the short straw and have Sam come and address which side? Because I'm tipping whichever one he goes to, the other one's a certainty.
Might have to be me because I'm a bit passionate like Billy. I go the old play for the jumper, so you won't like my speech, so you can come and take Diamond Creeks if you like.
Don't worry,
Steph.
Tom.
Steph.
Yes, Steph. I'll come down and give you a private talking to.
No, I don't.
Not interested, thanks, Sammy.
Not interested.
If I can't inspire you, Steph, I tell you what, you're a piker.
Hey, well, now listen, I'm serious about it. You should go and see this game that was played on the weekend. Now, girls, it is important to point out that it's not just about those 2 games. I mean, there are competitions that continue on, as you say, over the next couple of weeks, leading up to your finals.
Yeah, there's some great footy to be played, and I think out of those 50 top talented girls from around the country, there'll be 20 running around in the Victorian finals. So there's a really strong talent pool here in Victoria. So if you liked what you saw in the game, definitely come down to the VWFL finals. You can find the fixture on the website.
And have you got their measure, Steph, or not?
No, we haven't beaten them since our grand final win in 2012, so we're the underdogs, but we like it that way.
Will you have to tag Daisy, or how's it work?
No, I won't go near her. She'll towel me up. So I'll keep my ego in check and, we'll just go head-to-head.
Well, we say it again, it's the first step in what I think is going to become a really big part of AFL footy, and it was great to watch it, and you girls will be at the forefront, and you're great ambassadors, so thanks for coming in.
Thanks, Gary. Thanks for having us.
Doesn't pay you to vacate your seat. Dell's just dropped himself straight in there.
Listen, Cankles, just move yourself over the other side.
You've checked out, Cows. You've checked out, mate.
I'm happy to stay here.
He's worked out what the mute button's all about and everything. He's flying. Hey, all seriousness, congratulations to both the Western Bulldogs and the Melbourne Footy clubs for the great support they've given these girls. Visionaries, those two clubs in women's footy. Well done. And the girls on the weekend, brilliant. So well done with that too. Speaking of the Dogs, they are airborne, of course. They take on the West Coast Eagles over in Perth. Big game of footy. West Coast, of course, a massive win on the weekend in the local derby. Butler, Schofield, Maston and Lysette, big injuries. They keep finding a way to cover them, though. It's been an extraordinary story, West Coast. Well done to Adam Simpson, who's been absolutely brilliant. Speaking of great stories, the Western Bulldogs, just unbelievable. Charlie Pickett and Boyd come out. Mitch Wallace has been brilliant. And this club are going to play in the finals. And look out if you get them at Etihad especially, because they are magnificent. Shane, what do you think?
Yeah, they're flying. Firstly, we need to get Daisy and Steph in the EJ Witten match next year, so looking forward to that. But West Coast going beautifully. Jack Darling, 100 games, well done. But I think the Western Bulldogs, we love the way they're going, playing with a lot of energy. Second, they go over and cause an upset.
Yeah, as mentioned, both of them are a little bit of a surprise this year, but as an opposition player, you just have to respect the way they've gone about their seasons thus far, and it'll obviously go a lot further into September. I'm going to have to go for West Coast. It's at home. They're playing some great football.
If you are disillusioned with footy, Sam, I suggest you watch this game because these two teams are playing footy the right way. They're playing a great brand and the results speak for themselves. So West Coast with top two on the line, despite the fact that they've got probably their best four key defenders out, they'll still get the job done.
Well, I'll take that on advisement. I've seen the Western Bulldogs play, I've watched them, and I totally agree with you. It would be romantic and predictable and patronising to tip Footscray, even though they're just going great. You couldn't tip them over there against the West Coast Eagles, but I hope the Western Bulldogs win, but I don't think they will.
Probably the two stories of the season, these two. An amazing journey they've both been on. Gaz, what do you think?
Well, I'm going for West Coast, but Steph here, I don't think the girls are mic'd up, has spent time down at the Western Bulldogs and said the culture down there is fantastic, and as it would be because they've been a great story. But I think over there, they've average winning margin for the Eagles this year is around 10 goals at home at Domain. So I think the Eagles, but I'm with Nick. It'll be a great game of footy. So we're going to take a break here. Maybe the girls can get up on the panel and give the boys a chop out over the next couple of segments. So impressive were they. We'll take a break. Street Talk from Oakley up next.
We do a thing called Phosphate, where the magnificent live audience are able to donate to Breast Cancer Network Australia. We need to thank the Collingwood Footy Club tonight. 2 double passes to the Collingwood Richmond blockbuster Saturday afternoon helped us tonight achieve the magnificent number of...
Yes, $1,090. Thank you so much.
Which gives us the grand total of...
gross 26,000... 542, and a lot of that will be going to the Breast Cancer Network. That
all of
not
it,
all of it. No, there's quite heavy office expenses. Our end of season
It'll all
trip
be
for
going
a
to the
start.
Breast Cancer Network of Australia. I tell you, overwhelming response on social media has demanded that the two girls, the captain of the Western Bulldogs and the captain of Melbourne, come up and give those two blokes and finally we'll get some good sense in this as the Women's League kicks off. Might be a precursor to shows. Sam's rattled already.
Yes.
So Shane, you and the girls take us through this last game, please.
OK, we're going to have a look at the Giants taking on the mighty City Swans. Let's have a look at the Giants side. The battle on the bridge. Some nice ins there. I'll tell you what, they weren't too bad last week against Port Adelaide. Jeremy Cameron, he needs to fire, but they're going OK. But let's have a look at the mighty Swans. Still nobody. Franklin Towers comes in, Rose comes in, Jones comes in. Parker out with a leg injury. He's a huge loss. Probably their most important player, Luke Parker. But this should be a really interesting match. I think the Giants can win, I really do. I think they're playing quite well. I think the Swans and Luke Parker being out is massive. Now, Steph, what are you thinking? Who do you think can win?
Yeah, I think Luke Parker being out's a massive loss for them, but I think they need a win to keep their top 4 chances alive. Tommy Mitchell's in good form, so I think the Swannies.
What about you, Daisy? What do you reckon?
Yeah, well, it's a must-win for the Giants, but I think Sydney will be too good. Sydney's had a really good record over the Giants, and I don't think...
What about, girls, we're giving you a blockbuster game to preview. What about the fact that Buddy's been out for a couple of weeks? Finals around the corner. I mean, is that a concern? Girls, not you, Sydney.
Yeah, obviously, you know, he's
you.
their number 1
Gary.
forward, but he's got a back issue, so they're probably just resting him and ease him into the finals. I'm sure he'll fire then.
And which midfielder would you like to take from both? Which of these two teams' midfields, Daisy, is a better midfield?
I think Sydney's got the better midfield. I love the way Dan Hanbury goes about it. I definitely have him in my team.
Yes.
Now, can we just ask the girls, obviously they're wonderful footballers, but what do you actually do for a living? What do you do, Steph?
Yeah, I'm a PE health teacher at Parkdale Secondary College in Morty Alex, so been teaching for 2 years now.
And what about you, Daisy?
You should know, Shane, I'm a midwife. I've seen you down there a couple of times.
I knew that. I was just wanting you to share.
Daisy,
Did you know that, Sam?
Was he any good at all in the birthing process? Any use?
Yeah, he was a great man. I haven't actually looked after him and his lovely wife in labour, but I'm sure he was wonderful.
Yeah.
I reckon you'd be absolutely useless.
You're right.
He can't have been too bad. They went back, so...
I'm very good.
Forsler, what do you think?
What do you think, Edward De Bono?
What about?
Sydney and
Oh,
GWS.
sorry, yeah, the game. Yeah.
Would you like to ask a question to the girls?
No, you've covered them all. Not the ones that we do on here, anyhow. Now, could I ask you this? Do you know you're part of? Now, just Seven, congratulations to Seven for winning the rights to the footy.
And Fox and Fox Footy.
And we're not ticked off at all, not at all. Even though we have the top 3 football shows and we're the non-broadcaster. We have the Footy Show, Footy Classified, and the Sunday Footy Show. And it's extraordinary. And you, well done when James Hird stood down or got sacked or withdrew. You got Job Watson in, and Seven, I think they ran a special on Essendon, surely being the broadcaster, didn't they? Did they run anything to do with Essendon?
I was on here at the time. I don't think they did.
Well, I'm sure they must have run something. Why is it that we are the top football broadcasting station, shows and everything, and Seven don't do anything?
It's all because of you, that's why. Give us a tip so we can move on.
Anyhow, congratulations to Seven. Let's hope they keep doing it till they get some of it right.
GWS and Sydney. The Battle of the Bridge.
GWS and Sydney. I reckon the Sydney Swans. Who did you say the other mob?
I said GWS.
I'm going for Sydney as well. I'm with, I think Daisy said the top 4, it's still a great chance for the Swans, so they just have to win.
Sam says we're not bitter about it. We're very bitter about it, by the way.
No, we're not.
Yeah, we are, Sam.
We are. We're filthy right up.
But we are going to go to the break with Samuel taking upon himself to talk about, I think, etiquette and the way we carry ourselves. So he did street talk down at Oakley.
The player's not shaking hands, biting. By Jove, what's happened to good old-fashioned etiquette? Hey, that's my car, you cocksmack. Good afternoon, Vicar. How are you?
All right. How are you?
Hello. How are you, ma'am?
Good.
You're Sam. How are you? How are you, madam?
Oh, very good. Yeah, I just read
Thank you, madam.
You have a certain eloquence about you, Sammy.
Tell you why we like Oakley. I first heard the term hand shandy here. Wasn't sure what it meant.
I've just been speaking to my housemate and she reckons I should give you a hand shandy.
Give me a...
Hand shandy.
Nice. What? How rude. It's rude, isn't it? Can I ask you a personal question? Is this a Montclair jacket? Montclair. Isn't it about time we just had some manners in football, madam?
Yes,
what do you
I
think?
guess.
Manners? It's good, isn't it?
You don't have manners, do you?
Don't touch the camera now, off. What about biting people?
That's good. It's disgusting.
It's disgusting.
It's filthy.
Have you ever been bitten by someone? Have you?
Yeah.
Where have they bitten you?
But it's pleasurable.
Looks like it could be one. He got one in New York. Would this have cost $2,500?
No.
$2,500?
$12.
$12, yeah. I got plenty of manners.
No, not really.
No,
You're pretty boring these days too.
Good evening, madam. How are you?
All right.
Well,
You're killing the show.
Killing it.
Yeah. No, you look all dressed up. Well, let's get married.
Where have you been bitten? On the ear?
On the bum.
Have you? Marvellous. Give us a look.
Oh, no.
You got blood?
Yeah.
Get a look at your mouth. What's happened?
I got 2 teeth pulled.
Bitten on the arse. Just getting things underway for the evening, really, after a couple of stiff scotches.
That's right.
Why wouldn't you go out with me? We'd make a good item. Don't you think?
No, she's just...
What is he, an Alsatian or a German Shepherd?
I think she's a Shepherd German.
Yeah, Shepherd German.
Yes.
How much do you reckon he paid for his Montclair? It's a similar jacket.
Montclair, probably a lot more expensive.
What do you reckon? Just have a stab.
Can you go in?
Hey?
I got to work.
Okay, Dale.
Can we take a photo of her?
This is a woman, doesn't think I'm funny, thinks I should get off the show, but wants a photo. Oh, look, what's that? That's good. I know what that is. That's blood. Look, just think of a number and then even double it.
All right, then. Well, I'd say 2,000. We'll double that. We'll probably get you 4,000.
The price is right.
Buy me a CD, please.
Of what?
Greek music.
Greek music?
Yes.
What do you...
You are in Oakley, you know.
Why would you want to put your bodily fluids over someone else?
No way.
Well, on a football field, anyhow.
Yeah, yes, sure.
Righto, how much is it?
$35.
What's the most etiquette your husband's shown you over the journey?
Look, you know, he likes to bet on the football, and when he's win, it doesn't matter.
No, Dale, to madam. Bring us $15 change back and a receipt.
You're a legend. I might like you after this.
And what's the greatest thing he's ever done to you that's made you...
He takes me to the football anyway, and he'll tell me, you know, to scream when the colleague when this flying.
Now, don't worry about going around the world seeing the Taj Mahal or
No.
down the Nile seeing the pyramids or the wildebeest streaking across the Svelte. He's taking you to the football and asks you to scream.
And they take me to McDonald's as well. He's a cheap scat.
Welcome back to the Footy Show. Before Gary thanks everyone for all the great work they do, I want to tell you that the cricket is live over on Gem in Australia just after lunch, first day of the Oval Test, a none for 89. Davey Warner, 57, and Chris Buck Rogers in his last test, being a bloody good cricketer for Australia, is 30 not out.
A much improved performance considering we're all out this time 2 weeks ago.
And England had been batting for half an hour.
Exactly right. Hey, thank you to Shane. Also to the 2 girls, to Daisy Pearce and Steph Cauchi. Thanks for coming in, girls. Good luck at the finals coming up. You know, good luck at the finals coming up.
Thank you, Gary.
Hope all goes well. And Nick, see the next 3 weeks out and then off to the States.
Thanks, guys.
Samuel, very nice work from you. Good luck to the Kangaroos, Jimmy boy. We'll see you next Thursday night at 8:30. Good night.